Welcome on in. Happy Thursday, 4th of July Eve to all you D-backs fans. Appreciate you guys stopping by to join the full trio here of Gabe, Brandon, and myself, Brett, as we are here to discuss a D-backs series split versus the San Francisco Giants. But before we kind of dive into the series and our thoughts and opinions and breakdowns and all that, this is your first time here at D-backs Dispatch. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. It helps out immensely. Or if you are listening to us on the audio side, make sure you guys rate us whatever you want to rate us. 5 stars, heck yeah. If you think that we have something to improve on, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, whatever it is. Make sure you leave those ratings in there. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and then if you're on Twitter already, check our pin tweet. If you're not already in our Discord, it should have a link to join our Discord. It's completely free. You don't got to pay a single dime to join. Come join a great D-backs community where we can all kind of, vent about certain frustrations or just talk about other D-backs related news, because we got a lot of prospect discussion, especially right now, potential trade discussion and all that. So again, join the Discord. Make sure you guys also go over to azsnakepit.com, check out the links, or check out all the articles over there daily. It's daily recaps. We got written content ourselves that Josh puts out over there. He does a great job. So check out the podcast in written form, and then a bunch of other deep dives and analysis from all the great writers over on the Pit. Again, that's azsnakepit.com. But like I said, we're here to dissect and talk about a D-back series that a 4-game split is always just boring. It's nice. Like, yes, they went into the series the same record, or the end of the series with the same record as they went into it. They were a game under 500. Game one, or at least the playoffs were so back on the menu, boys. After game one, they won 4-2. A little bit of a nail biter, surprising that the bullpen, while they did give up 2 runs on the first pitch from Juan Murillo in the 7th inning, kind of ruined Ryan's night. Those runs do go on Ryan, so technically the bullpen was spotless. But the D-backs scored just enough to take home the win. They win 4-2. Gino hit a bomb. Gurriel hit a bomb. The team overall just looked like it was, had a lot of energy again. Sheldon Miller locked down a very clean, easy 1-2-3 save in the 9th, which we don't see too much. So the D-backs took the first game of the series, got back up to 500, and things were looking positive. Vibes were high. Game 2 was even better. Obviously, I know Zach Gallen wasn't looking as sharp as we were all hoping. He could try to lock in. Gave up 2 in the 2nd inning. Looked like we were going to get another classic Zach Gallen 5-run game. But he really locked in. Went 7 innings. I think he retired the final 12 batters that he faced from innings 4 through 7 on. One of the few times we've seen him actually go to 7 innings and complete 7 innings this season. The offense locked in indeed. They scored 8 to help bolster Zach Gallen's stat line. Jake McCarthy hit his 2nd home run, a go-ahead 3-run shot, give the D-backs the lead, and they would not surrender from there. Gurriel, Grichuk, and McCann all added a solo shot of their own. McCann's first home run as a Diamondback, so welcome to the team, James McCann. I already like you a lot more than I like Jose Herrera. Hopefully we can keep you around. Yesterday's Game 3, the D-backs did have a chance to win this one, but with certain guys not in the right positions, maybe the positive, negative roles. I know Gabe will probably have more on that, but D-backs, a little bit of back and forth. They were up 2-1 after 5. Giants put up 2 in the 8th. I think it was 2 after 5. Let me double check. Oh, sorry, the D-backs were tied 2-2 after 5. The Giants put up a few in the 8th inning. D-backs look like they can come back, but then, of course, because of some bullpen punts, once again, the Giants got some extra insurance runs, went up 5-2. But you cannot hold down Marte for long. He drilled a game-tying home run in the 9th inning off of Camilo Doval, and the Giants actually have the best bullpen ERA in baseball, so that was great to see. Tied the game, went into extras. Giants did get that ghost runner home on a sac fly, I believe, from Jung Ho Lee. But then in the bottom of the 10th, the D-backs once again just failed to do anything with the ghost runner. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. got him over to third, or got Blaze Alexander over to third on a deep fly ball to center field. But then back-to-back strikeouts from Jake McCarthy and Alec Thomas ended the game there. So the D-backs failed to capitalize. And at least take home a win and secure the series win. Went into today trying to at least avoid a split and take the series 3-1. They would face their former D-back itself, Robbie Ray. Brandon Pfaadt. He just is not he's continuing to struggle a little bit. Gave up two in the first, two in the third, and that was literally all Robbie Ray would have needed the entire game. Robbie Ray went a complete game, 9 innings, a last inning, ninth inning solo home run for Ketel Marte, kind of a nothing burger there. He's got a 2.68 ERA on the season, so he is definitely giving the Giants their money's worth. Only gave up 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Definitely not the Robbie Ray that we saw when he was a Diamondback, but still, still always liked Robbie Ray, so don't wish anything against him. But yeah, like I said, the D-backs fought Curtis, Beeks, and Ginkel. Beeks was the only pitcher today that didn't give up a single run. Where Fott gave up 4, Curtis gave up 2, and then Ginkel gave up 1. And D-backs, obviously, like I said, they did end up losing this game 7-1. They split the series with the San Francisco Giants, and they end this series in the exact same spot that they did before, where they are now or they are still a game under 500, still not really confirmed to be buyers or sellers yet. Obviously, won't know for 2 weeks, but not the end of the series that we were hoping as it started out. Because, like I said, I was posting some memes about the playoffs being so back on the menu. But unfortunately, after a game or two more games, it is no longer back on the menu. But want to pass it to you, gentlemen, to open up here. Obviously, everyone in chat. I know we got Shrimpy, Bubba, Tanner, Disruptive. Appreciate all you guys. We'll get to some of your guys' comments and whatnot. So appreciate you guys in the chat and whatnot. So let me know your thoughts as well. What stood out to you this series? Again, I know it was a 4-gamer. There was a lot of baseball played, but what did you like? What didn't you see? What did you want to highlight? What maybe what's something that grinded your gears throughout this series, whether it's bullpen or just maybe some offensive performances. Like for me personally, the continuation of struggles with the ghost runner, just they cannot seem to get that runner across in extras. I think they're now 3-7 in extras. That's what kind of stood out to me. But I'm curious from you guys what kind of stuck out in your mind for this 4-gamer. As like I said, we leave the series 1 game under 500, just like we went into it.
I think for me, it's just like I want to say microcosm, but this isn't a microcosm anymore. This is a macrocosm. This is just who the D-backs are and have been this whole season, where they'll take 2 great games and you'll be like, oh, snap, like this team is back, playoffs are on the menu, boys. And then they have 2 games where they, the bullpen struggles, or like we saw a just straight up punt game yesterday, and then they lose this game because they get shut out. Like, I mean, I know they didn't get shut out in this game, but I just mean in general, kind of a nothing burger offensively. And this is why you don't punt games at any point during the season. This team I guess I should say Torrey specifically, punted so many games early on in the season, and I would come on here and complain about it. Even like we were talking about them punting in the first weekend, right? Like they played 4 games. I think that Sunday game, they put out their absolute worst B and C lineup and didn't even use any of the bullpen guys. And well, we heard it's like, oh well, this is a long season, and that's what I heard is what Tori kept saying. And I'm like,
That's what I said.
sure,
I've said it so many times.
like, I mean, it is a long season, but at the end of the day, imagine if they would have taken those games, if they would have, push guys, maybe certain starters, maybe certain relievers that are now injured anyways. Like they took so much care of Puck. I mean, Puck and Jmart, I think, combined it through 7 innings in the first 2 weeks, which is terrible. That is not enough at all for a team that's trying to make it into the playoffs for 2 relievers to combine for 7 innings. That truly isn't enough. And all we heard was like, oh, they're overworked. I'm like, how? There's like 7 innings in total. Like, how are they overworked? But that's why, again, you don't punt these games. They punted yesterday, putting in Woodford. I almost called him Woodcock the other day, but yeah, Woodford. Uh, I mean, that's a punt job. I mean, you can't tell me that it isn't. And anybody who says like, "Oh well, why is he in there?" I'm like, well, Torrey doesn't have to use him. He had all of his guys available, and also Murillo shouldn't have been sent down either. There's like 3 or 4 other guys that could have and should have been sent down. They just weren't. But it was clear to me that yesterday was a punt job. It was just, they were down by 1 run going into the 8th. They put in a guy with a 91 mile per hour fastball who hasn't pitched since last season, by the way. He hasn't pitched since 2024. And the guy, it's not like he's been consistent in Reno where you're like, all right, this dude clearly has something. They signed him off the street, off the freaking bargain bin, and then they put him in, gives up 2 runs, and then, or 1 run, and put him in and gives up another 2 runs. And it was clear to me they weren't even trying to win yesterday. So And it's the same crap we hear from Tori all the time about, they have to play for tomorrow and, you know, maybe lose today so that, lose the battle, win the war, whatever bull crap that saying is. Um, and at this point, again, we're at the point of the season where you can't keep doing that, and they're still doing that. They're still punting on games, and that's why they are where they are. Imagine if they didn't punt half of those games. You're talking about a playoff team. You're talking about a team that's probably in command of that last wild card, if not in, competing for the division as well. So I don't see any of these other teams do it, and people can say, rest days, are good, but look at Toronto. They're not wasting any time. They're not wasting any at bats on that team other than um, this Sclafani or whoever the hell they signed, who's been kind of garbage for them. But everybody else on that team, like they don't waste any at bats. They put in their best guys every single day, and that's why they are where they are. I mean, sure, maybe closer to September, a few of them are going to be tired, but that's what you play for. You play to get that bye, and so you can have a few days to rest your guys because at this point they're going to end up, if they make the playoffs, they're going to be in that last wild card spot, and we're going to see what we saw in 2023 where they couldn't even set up Zach Gallen to go the first game. They had to go Brandon Fodder, whoever it was, just because they had no time off, and I think that's going to be a huge problem going forward if they don't, win an actual bye day or bye week or whatever they would call it now, since it's not an actual week.
Yes, I would agree with you on the. I mean, I think even Tay-Dad brings up a good point in the comments saying the bullpen's so bad there is no such thing as punting, and I can see that to a certain degree. On like sometimes you got to work with your options, and even like you're saying, Torrey can't use these guys. Hazen's not really giving him the best options to work with, so a little bit, if not most of this, would definitely be on what Hazen's doing to provide with Torrey. But I still do agree. Like the manager still has the option. Who to choose in these, and even as Elise is saying, Woodford yesterday down one was insane, and I agree. Like there's just certain names where we're down one run in the game. Like we've seen it the game against the Padres, even the game against the Braves. This offense can put up a lot of runs, and when they're clicking. But when you're putting out guys that are like, you know what, we're down by one. If we give up a few, it's fine. It's okay. Where I'm like, no, like maybe just try to do what you can to win a game. But I do agree the punting can be a little bit, or the feeling like they punt can be a little bit frustrating at times, and I feel like we've seen it just far too often this season. Whether it's Torres playing with what he can work with, or it's just maybe certain guys are red line. Either way, it's definitely been a very frustrating thing to see consistently happen. But Brandon, same thing to you. Maybe double down or not double down. Maybe kind of agree with Gabe. Something else you noticed about the bullpen issues. Maybe there's something else that you had on your mind. Maybe there's a positive way you can spin it for this series. Because like I said, a 4-gamer being split between the two, not the most exciting, but there were some positives. Gallen, there were some negatives in the bullpen. What stuck out to you throughout this entire series? What did you kind of want to hammer home on here for our recap of the Giants 4-gamer?
Zach Gallen really improved his trade value, so thank you very much for that, Zach. On Tuesday, he his first good start in a while. He threw his sinker, which I didn't know he knew how to throw. Still, we had not seen that in a while. He also looked like his fastball command was working really well. So that was great. Nelly looked amazing in game one. Nelson looked so good in game one. He was still on a pitch count, which was 85, so that's why he was taken out. I know everyone was mad, and I get it. I think they're so scared of pitching injuries. That's why there's, after 5 starts now, they still have him on a pitch count. They are so worried, but it's your fault. You guys have been doing this shit like you did with Bradley, Duplantier, the freaking yo-yo with starting relievers,
And now Drake Jameson, who might be out for the
correct.
season.
Yeah,
Second for John.
It's so frustrating. Thomas looked good in game one. He had 3 hits. They all were soft, just little bloop hits. They're still hits. So it was great to kind of see him because he had been struggling for a while. So that was kind of a bummer. And I want to reference it. I don't want to talk about it. The whole fan interference debacle that happened was one of the most. this guy was like so proud of himself, chest out, like he didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, you're the only one that thinks that. So I just thought
Didn't
that
he
was
apparently also write like in a book or fanfic about what D-backs would be good in what war scenarios? Like that's some weird
yeah.
shit, man.
The dude's definitely not all the way there. Like this series to me was a tale of two different series. Games 1 and 2, like I was like, oh my lord, like are we finally playing like a good baseball team? And then we had these last 2 days, and I'm like, every series, it's 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. I'm like, you guys just like, I don't want them to be sellers because I love Gino, I love Kelly, Gallen, I don't care so much. And I'm just like, and that quote that came out today about Gino, how he loves it here. I'm like, this is gonna suck when he gets traded on July 31st because it's happening. You gotta get, you 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 gotta get something, because the way he's going, I don't even know if they could afford him this offseason. Like it's just so frustrating. I don't like the term punt. I feel like there's
Because
better.
you're so used to it as a Cardinal fan already, aren't you? Ah, there's a joke for it. Sorry.
No. I just mean like I feel like we use it all the time, and I don't think it's punting. It's I'm not sure was it Tadad. Basically, with this bullpen, how bad it is, it doesn't matter who goes out there, it's gonna get blown up. Like the only person right now that I trust is Shelby. Nobody else. So I'm like, it doesn't
And
matter who gets
Backus.
thrown out there.
I mean,
I
I would agree that with how bad it is, but I mean we just named off two guys who are good, Backus and Shelby, who were both rested, and also Ryan Thompson. He's good in what would be a low leverage situation, which it was yesterday. They were down by 1 run. If they were up by 1 run, I, maybe I would be a little bit more careful with that. But, I mean, Jalen Beeks was warming up as well. I mean, I know he hasn't been good the last few outings, but he's a guy you maybe just put out there, see if he is worth keeping or not as well, because he is a deadline guy. He is a guy who's on the peripherals, and he's been struggling the last few times. And he was DFA'd for a reason. Like nobody picked him up for a reason, so we could just be seeing some regression on his part as well. But again, you named two guys that they could have thrown out yesterday, before Woodford was even put out there, and
That signing
it could
makes no
be.
sense. That signing is so stupid. The only reason he's on the major league roster, he doesn't have options. So it's not like they could have signed him to go pitch in Reno to see what they had. It was they signed him to the major league roster and they're like, oh, first game in, let's see what he got. Just freaking just
He went to the Zia
and it's
25-cent bin for movies, but just for relief
like
pitchers.
it's like I can't like Mike Hazen is like I know everyone wants to blame Torrey. I'm more mad at Mike Hazen. I am beyond furious with Mike Hazen right now because of he is not helping this team at all. These waiver wire bullpen, I'm like, what are you doing? There's a reason these guys are on the waiver wire. It's because they're garbage. They are awful. So it's
There's
just
one name that the Guardians DFA'd I saw online today, Colby Allard. One of the few names that's not too terrible.
I mean, yeah, if you want to look at his ERA, it looks great, but go look at his numbers a little bit
Oh
more
yeah, there's definitely some underlying
closely.
metrics that are not the most
It's like
Yeah.
enticing
it's
thing.
not pretty.
One
And
one
then
point four four whip, and the FIP is really high as well.
Yeah,
So
the whip
just about
definitely
luck,
yeah,
caught me off guard too.
the FIP
not a whip.
is. I saw the FIP and I'm like, no, I don't care what your ERA is. No, and also, this team can't score in extra innings at home. They are 1-5. They scored 1 run in those 6 games. 1 run, like
That's horrible. That's actually sad, especially when you're literally gifted a runner in scoring position. You just need any
yeah.
kind of
And just
single.
one final thing as we kind of go here. The Tawa experiment for me is over. I don't care about his positional versatility. I don't care that he can literally play 7 positions. I do not care because these stats that you brought up in the group chat earlier,
Yeah.
0 for his last 19, 3 for his last 36, 12 for 71 over his last 30,
He has a
and then a
career
slash
or
of
a season OPS of
169,
6.3
200,
now.
254. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
If Lawler wasn't
no,
hurt,
I'm
they probably would
like,
have called him back up, sadly.
I'm not, I don't
But
like,
they probably wouldn't at the same time.
it's just, and it took him how long to get Blazes to actually get into the game? Not as a pinch runner, because he's done a pinch runner like 3 times. Like, he got his first start today in like a week. Like, it's the same thing they did with Lawler. I'm like, what do you expect these guys to do? These young guys, when you play them once a week, of course they're gonna look rusty, and that's partially why I think Tawa's struggling. He's not playing as much as he used to.
That definitely could be a big key to it, But I mean, even like before, like the 70 game span isn't like a small sample size. Uh, he's again over the last, you said it, 12 for his last 71. He has a 254 slugging and a 200 on base. That's a 454. That's not on base. That's not slugging. That's a 454 OPS with a 169 average. Like he has 26 strikeouts in his last 30 games as well. So like he's just swinging, missing a lot. Even as a Tay dad saying, like his sack bunt attempt last night was just like bad, and it sucks because Tawa
That was
does.
ugly.
Tawa
That
did
was
show he's got some good
ugly.
potential. Like his first, I'd say like 70 at bats. Was looking like, there's a lot of people mostly making jokes, but like, oh yeah, Tawa could be in the NL Rookie of the Year contention because it's not a big, a strong pool right now. I mean, first off, we all know PCA is going to win that one by far. Uh, but he was at least like having a solid year. He had like a 1.2 WAR, I think.
PCA isn't a rookie though.
I thought he was still rookie eligible.
Nope,
No,
nope. He does not classify as a rookie. Rookie of the year, in my opinion, is going to Drake Baldwin from the Braves.
that's fair.
That
Okay.
catcher
Well,
is really good.
either way,
He's really
Tawa
good.
was making a good case for himself to at least be in like the top five, kind of like how a few years ago Jake got some like top 10 votes for rookie of the year, and definitely not that so far. He is shit the bed on all those hopes, and I know even Elise, just because I feel like we got to bring it up every chance we get because we're probably the biggest haters against it. Tawa and Pavin both need to go, but we know Pavin will be hitting third tomorrow. It's okay. He had a solid 2 weeks. He deserves more 3 hole spots. Sorry, I gotta be petty when I can. But even Pavin Smith, like again, his season OPS is now down to 816. His last 7 games, he has a let's see what's his 214 on base and a 296 slug. He has 37 strikeouts over his last 30. Just the entire offense, like this offense either shows up or it borderline disappears. But it sucks because you'll have a game like last night where they will still fight. They will. I mean, they put up one in the eighth, and then Cattell's game tying shot in the ninth. Like they can still score, but when you have Pavin going 0 for or 1 for 2, even 1 for 2, an 816 OPS DH hitter is just crazy work. Where like I'd rather at this point try to bring back Suarez next year and have him be the DH, but
Just trade Pavin for something at this point. Like,
I'll take
please.
a 6 pack of NA Heineken and maybe give me a few weeks worth of Filthy Mac fries for free. Take him. Like I don't give a shit.
Or get some cash to fix the roof because there were leaks with the rain last night at Chase Field. So
Thankfully,
maybe
there
try
was
and get.
There was one thing that we didn't get to talk about last time was that new bill was passed. So the D-backs do have plan for funding going into their stadium, which is a big positive. I think
Yeah.
they're still trying to figure out their lease issues. So not fully out of the water yet, but a big hurdle was cleared. At least getting the stadium, funding, or at least a plan for the funding to get these issues fixed. Because like you said, it's pretty sad that our stadium, not even being 30 years old, is having multiple roof issues, whether it just doesn't fully work or it leaks like that, which is insane. And even I think Gabe posted a funny meme about
The fan.
the oh yeah, we got AC at home, and then it's just the giant standing fan, which hey, probably feels like Gabe said, probably feels really
Yeah,
fucking good to
yeah.
stand in front of.
When I came in through the door, I was like, "Damn, they fixed the AC." And then, yeah, I turned around. There's like a big old fan there. I'm like, I mean, all right, at least it feels good when you enter it. Like when you actually, I mean, it wasn't too bad yesterday, but I think the
No.
rain and the clouds helped a lot.
I agree, but I want to get to some of the comments here because, like I said, I want to shout out all you guys that are in here. I know we got a bunch of usual disruptive, Shrimpy, Tanner, Bubba. Always love seeing you guys in here. Tay-Dad, Elise,
Corbin
Corbin
Barrels was
Barrels
in
jump.
here.
Corbin Barrels, Mr. Barrels jumping in here. Red Sox Nation, appreciate you guys coming through as always. So want to shout you guys out. Some of the comments that obviously stuck out or at least stuck out to me that I wanted to highlight. I think Tanner put it best. Hazen's trying to find the next Ryan Thompson, picking relievers from scrap heap, and that's pretty much what it is. He hit well with Thompson in 23. Thompson, for most of that 23 season was a lockdown pitcher and was money, but he's not been the same guy since then. Tanner brings up saying Kelly and Fott have really been struggling in the first inning, and that is something to point out. That they've Kelly's still been solid here and there. Like he's still gonna have a few. I feel like blow up games, blow up quote unquote. Not like a Brandon Fott or Zach Gallen blow up where he gives up like 8 or 9 runs here and there. He also we will talk about the interference thing in a minute here, and we'll kind of get our thoughts on that because that whole saga on Twitter was crazy. We did get our tweet onto the Giants post game broadcast, which is just hilarious. But Elise is saying that traded for nothing. I think this is in regards to talking about trading Gino for at least something. Remember who we traded for a year and a half for Ray for? Deadline deals don't usually pan out, which is
That Ray trade, oh my god. The guy we traded, we cut like a week later. So literally,
that was just a money dump and it was unfortunate. And then Bubba, I like this comment from him saying, "Hearing the sentence 'I only trust Shelby Miller' is crazy." If you would have told us that in spring training, I think we would have also thought that we were crazy too. But It's unfortunate. Tay-Dad's bringing up a good point because we talked about PCA saying what's sad is we took Bryce Jarvis the pick before PCA in 2020, and that is pain, which sucks because Bryce Jarvis did look really solid out of Duke. I think he threw no-hitter that year. He looked like a really solid pitcher, but he just does not panned out. Once again, the D-backs cannot develop any kind of pitcher to save their lives. Look at Robbie Ray. He had some really solid, parts here. They just couldn't figure it out all the way, and then he just kind of figured it out once he went to any other season or any other team, won a Cy Young, got paid a bunch of money, and now he has like a two sub ERA, and is just doing insane. And I agree with Elise. Literally trade him for anything at this point in regards to Pavin and Brett and I suffering. And even Bubba saying Hazen still believing in Pavin Smith to break out in year 5 without no signs of improvement is hilarious. Find you somebody that believes in you like Mike Hazen believes in Pavin Smith. That's the underlying thing here. If you can get somebody that supports you like Hazen and Co. supports Pavin, then you will go far in life and you'll know you have a great support system. But like I said, we did at least want to highlight because Monday night, you guys probably saw on Twitter and all that, there was a play where a fan reached over the wall, interfered with the ball that they originally called it, I think, a home run, but then they reviewed it, they called it out. But then Melvin wanted them to challenge it, and they looked at it, and it was fan interference, which thankfully didn't come back to bite it. But I'm not sure if Nugget, aka AZD-Backs Prospects, was the first one to go and do the digging, but some of the community members in our Discord and obviously on Twitter were doing some digging. They found out that fan did not only interfere once. It's not even the second, or that was not even the first time they've interfered in a Giants game. If you guys remember the Joey Bart one a few years ago, he did that one as well. We found evidence of 5 times of it happening, but then apparently after everything blew up, he went in on the Berkeley Marotta show and said he's done it 9 or 10 times, but only been ejected a few, which is just crazy work to me to be proud of it. Like, one, I mean, they need to put some kind of like bigger railing in front there because like to keep fans from doing that because it's so easy to try to reach over and rob it. But 2, the guy is a very interesting character. Like I said earlier, basically writes fan fiction about what D-backs players would be good in war situations, which is it's like the most redneck version of being a weeb in my opinion. It's literally what it is, but it was a whole crazy scenario. Like I said, one of our tweets about him robbing it like 3 or 4 times did go viral, and the Giants broadcast even had it up on there. So that was a fun night and one of the few fun things that came out of the series. But gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the whole debacle again? How everything kind of played out, it happened not just once, not twice, especially finding it 5 times. I think it was 4 years in a row from 22 to 25, and then we found the 5th one in 2019 on a Seawalk one. What are your thoughts on the whole thing, especially now knowing that he's banned for the rest of the season from home, and it sounds like he's not going to be, or the ban's probably going to be lifted after the season. How do you make out of all of everything that happened and kind of your thoughts on the whole scenario and whatnot.
Um, I did see a little bit of what he said on the radio, but then he also had another article after the fact on AZ Central when they actually banned him. This dude was so woe is me and like, oh, I wish I would have been warned. I'm like, my guy, if you show up to any games, they will literally tell you on the big screen, please don't interfere. You will be subject to ejection if you interfere. That's warning enough. The fact that your dumbass has to do it 9 times, if not 10 times, until they finally ban you. I mean, that's crazy. It literally just took us putting him on blast and posting his face on social media for the team to finally react. Because what if Bubba and everyone else in the Discord? What if they didn't find these clips, and what if they didn't notice that it's been the same jackass every single time? He would still be out there, probably. Like I doubt it, because ain't no way John Boy's doing that research on their own. Like it had to be up to us to actually find it and post it and let people know, like, hey, like this dude's been doing this for a while, so like, what the hell? Like, well, what are we doing here? Why hasn't this guy been banned already? Um, I don't know. Like maybe he's a veteran. They honor veterans that much that they let them impact games like 9 times.
I mean, it's
But yeah,
helped us out, which is good, but it's also like, hey,
yeah,
maybe we should like.
I mean, it helps
It really
us.
has.
It's helped us out a bit, but imagine this is the World Series, and what if it looks like maybe, like in this case, like I know he got one of the Christian Walker ones, but let's say it's a World Series and it looks like he maybe interfered with the Christian Walker home run. Instead, they give Christian Walker a double instead of a home run. Like, I mean, this jackass is impacting the actual major league games. You can't keep doing that over and over again. I mean, I don't think we should ruin this guy's life like the Cubs fan did to Steve Partman or anything like that. But just kick him out. Like after this, I don't ever want to hear from him again. Like I don't want to hear about his stupid fan fiction and anything else. Like I don't want to see the guy there. And I think this team should do a better job at that. I mean, it's not like they have the best relations right now with the fans with how things are going. That this is one of those things where it should have never happened, and unfortunately it did. And again, good riddance, but also like to the guy, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Come on, clean it up.
Yes, I will say the only difference between all of the, at least the, because again, if he said he's like done it like 9 or 10 times, and we only found video of 5, the only difference is he's actually reaching over the wall and interfering, where Bartman did nothing wrong. I will always be on the train that the Cubs just wanted to scapegoat. Their fans just wanted to blame something other than their dog shit collapse. Because nobody talks about their dog shit collapse immediately after that play. They say, oh, it was cursed. I don't know, maybe your manager left your pitcher out too long. But Bartman got wrongfully blamed because he was just reaching up and in the air, just like any other fan would do. He does not deserve the hate. Where this fan, I think, deserves, again, maybe not hate. We don't want to be like doing a whole hate campaign, but definitely
Not
a
only that, it was the Alex Gonzalez. That's who I was thinking of. The shortstop
oh
made
the
an error
drop ball, yeah.
right after right after the Steve Bartman play, which nobody talks about. And also, it's not Steve Bartman's fault that it went from a 3-1 lead to an 8-3 lead, because that was on the pitching. That's on Alex Gonzalez as well. But no, let's all destroy Steve Bartman's life.
Yeah, they left Mark Pryor out there to die, but
They
we're not
wanted
Cubs.
that World Series so bad. They're like, we found our scapegoat.
Yeah, we're
So
not Cubs dispatch.
It
So
wasn't even the World Series. It was the CS.
yeah,
yeah.
I know.
But this is
That's
one
what,
of the.
that's
I
what's
think
crazy.
those.
They act like it was the World Series, and it wasn't even the World Series. I think it was the CS or DS, whatever it was. So they weren't
It
even
was the
there.
CS.
Also, that wasn't the last game. That was Game 6, I think, too. So they had
Yeah,
Game 7 to win
I
it, and they
think.
crapped the
Yeah,
bed. So
right. They're already up 3-2. So they blew that one and they blew Game 7. So, but that's at least the one difference that I noticed from this one. It is worthy of at least being, if all of MLB is going to ban that one fan, which rightfully so, for saying that shit about Cattell's mom in the White Sox series. Maybe a guy that's done this 10 different times, maybe give him more than just a ban for the rest of the season. I don't give a shit if he's a season ticket holder. Like, I was almost thrown out of a game just for cheering for the D-backs against the Dodgers in a game. This dude gets just relocated because he interferes with the game one time. Like, no, that's bullshit. But Brandon, what are your thoughts about this whole debacle and everything that went down? Like, I know even Bubba's saying in the chat that dude helped the series not become a serious loss, which, if you want to look at it that way, that's not necessarily wrong. But what do you think about how the whole thing went down, especially the being in there in the Discord and everything going on, like timeline, how it, oh, there's one, now there's multiple. Sir, a second fan interference has hit the towers. Different things like that. Like, what would your brain kind of go to during this whole fan interference shitstorm?
It just kept getting more and more intense. Like, it's like, first of all, the dude almost falls off the wall onto the field. Like that right there, I'm like, and still, I'm like, the Bickley and Murata are the most. I don't want to call them clowns, but if you listen to them, like they have like they're always laughing. Like I don't know. I just the fact that they gave this dude a platform kind of pissed me off. So yeah, that whole thing. And apparently, Alec knows him by name very well, which that probably shouldn't be a thing. Because if you look after the play, Alec looks pretty pissed. Because he's like, dude, like, what are you doing here? And like the fact that it wasn't one, it wasn't two, it was at least 10 times
Insane work.
is just absolutely ridiculous. Like one of the most crazy things that is like I have no words. Like this whole thing was just ridiculous. And I think they only banned him for the season so that it would look good that they did something. I bet in the off season, if he tries to get season tickets again, they'll be like, sure, just don't do it. But
Or
he's
just a
going
different
to.
section.
He is going to do it because this guy has like a competition with his friends as to who can get the most home runs. So I think if they let him back, he cannot be in the first 5 rows.
It's like Zach Hampel, except for this version can actually go to the Fort Bragg military game and not just try to get the tickets off of Hinge. Sorry, there's a lot of lore for the whole Zach Hampel thing if you guys don't know, but at least this guy's a veteran.
Wait. Tickets off of Hinge?
So there was maybe not Hinge, whatever. I think it was Tinder. So I guess a quick TLDR. Years ago, when the MLB did the first ever Fort Bragg game, you guys don't know Zach Hampel. I feel like everyone does. The big ball hog, the guy that will run all across the stadium trying to track down milestone home runs and brags about having like all these foul balls.
Runs over children.
Because the Fort Bragg game was only for military members and their family, he basically went on Tinder and was like, "Hey guys, I'm looking for anybody that is in the military that can get me into this game. I'll pay you like $500 if you can get me a ticket to this because I want to get because all the baseballs had like a special stamp." Some have World Series, some have All-Star Game. This one had like a Fort Bragg stamp. He basically went on Tinder looking for a date that was a veteran or had a family member that was a veteran so he can get into the game and just get a baseball just to brag about it. And rightfully so, the internet shit all over him, called him a loser, exactly what he is because he's a fucking loser. But at least this fan can actually, get the ticket. If they did it again, this fan would at least earn the tickets because he's an actual veteran, not just let me go on Tinder and pay somebody for tickets because I'm a balding 50-something-year-old loser.
Yeah, I mean the best thing that can come out of this is that we forget his name because I don't want him to become a Zach Hampel. Like we shouldn't know any fans' names unless they're an actual good guy or like someone that we actually want to bring up as a community or something like that. But no one should be like this.
Like let's let's recognize I don't even know her actual name, but the flag lady, the lemonade guy, like those kind of people. Like I know one is a worker, but
lemonade like grandma made.
those are the fans that we need to shout out and have their names be like Gabe said, shout out the good fans, let people know their names, not these Zach Campbell wannabes and guys that cause the outcome of games to change one way or the other. But some other, I guess, news related to the D-backs and whatnot. Obviously, we talked about with some of these bullpen dumpster diving moves. Juan Murillo was optioned down to Reno. So he is no longer on the squad, which is unfortunate because he was starting to look pretty solid in his last few outings. Again, nobody in this bullpen is really, perfect, but, sometimes you got to take what you can get. I'd rather take Juan Murillo because at least he throws the ball hard and not giving up 94-mile-an-hour meatballs that, teams are ready to tee off on. Corbin Carroll did also start some rehab games in the AZ, I believe, Pacific League or the Complex League. Thank you. So he's getting back to some game action. I think he went over 2 with 2 walks today. And then the biggest news that is at least a little more positive is we all know fan voting is absolute dog shit. We saw that it's insane that Max Muncy was even an option over Eugenio Suarez and all that. And Tommy Edman was the other second baseman that could have went to the All-Star game over Ketel Marte, but thankfully a lot of fans, 30% of fans that were probably all Dodger fans, like to be as biased as they can. They voted for Tommy Edman. 70% of other fans who did vote in the final phase did vote Ketel Marte. So Ketel Marte is making the All-Star game back-to-back years as the starting second baseman for the All-Star game. Deservingly so. He is the best second baseman in all of baseball. There is no debate about which way whatsoever. Like, I'd go debate a wall. I don't care. He is the best second baseman in baseball, both American League, National League, does not matter. Nobody will even comes close. So with those, three news, one of them being, not as, I guess it's kind of neutral with Murillo being down, but the positive news about Carroll and then Ketel making the All-Star game. What are your thoughts on fan voting? What are your thoughts on, Corbin Carroll at least rehabbing, at least being more positive news? Maybe we get him back before the All-Star break, and then just, the state of this team with the bullpen, the Murillo, DFAs. But, I mean, for me, I'd say more of keep it on the lighter note. Thoughts on Ketel making the All-Star game finally, or finally confirmed as the starting second baseman, and once again getting the light he deserves to shine.
Yeah, I think they should abolish fan voting for the most part, at least until the second round, maybe. We've talked about it, I think, even in the group chat. Like, we should let players, not just players, but mostly coaches, I think, try to decide the All-Star contenders. And I mean, obviously there's gonna be some bias, but you can always put that role of like, no, none of your own guys or something like that. And I think for the most part we should get a really good All-Star game, because the Tigers are very good, but they're good as a whole. There shouldn't be any reason why they have like 4 guys starting. Same with the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, who has like half the WAR of Pete Alonso. And I mean, screw Pete Alonso for taking Christian Walker's spot last year, but also Pete Alonso, I mean, he's an MVP candidate. Freddie Freeman is not. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of bull crap going on. I mean, same with the Cubs in 16 or 17. They're like
Royals in like
7
14 or
Cubs,
15.
yeah. So I think they should just abolish fan voting, at least in the first round, so we can get actual real candidates, guys who deserve to be there. And I mean, I'm sure there's problems with that as well, but maybe do 70% of the vote comes from players and coaches, and then the other 30% comes from the fans, and then maybe it should even out a little bit more, and then so that way we get the true um, the best outcome possible. Because if you're not a Dodger fan, you don't want to watch 4 or 5 Dodgers bat in a row. Like, that's not fun for you. Like, you want to see your guy represented out there, and as a D-back fan, we want to see Ketel out there. We want to see him win the All-Star MVP, even though it doesn't really matter, but still want to see him out there. So it's great for Ketel, it's great for the fan base, and he's making his case more and more as the season goes on, as his career goes on, as Mr. Arizona Diamondback, as the guy who, when all is said and done, he is going to be probably him and Randy Johnson 1 and 2.
Yeah, you hear that, Yankee fans? You're not fucking getting Ketel Marte. He's a Diamondback for life. Stop these dog shit trades. We're not going to take Volpe and Spencer Jones for Ketel Marte. Please, I'm good. But on the topic of the fan voting, I do agree, like, abolish it in some way, because even as Bubba brings up in the chat, James Wood not being an all-star is disgusting. Like, James Wood was...
He will be on Sunday.
Well, yes, but he should be starting the game. I'm sorry, Acuna should not be... Like, I love Ronald Acuna Jr. He is a star. Ronald Acuna Jr. should not be starting the All-Star game over James Wood. Like, it should have been the other way around. Acuna, like, he's been really good. He could have been there at least. And, like, I get it's in Atlanta, so, whatever. But I'm sorry. James Wood should have started over... whether it's over him or even Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker's been really good too, and he at least has a more solid case than Acuna because he's been playing the entire season. But James Wood should be a all-star starter, not just an all-star. He should be the all-star starter in the outfield, and was absolutely robbed. But Brandon, same thing to you. Obviously, I know the Corbin news this a little bit positive. The Murillo news maybe not as much, but I think the one that we want to focus on more here, because he deserves his flowers, deserves his time to bask in the all-star light. Ketel Marte making now his second straight appearance as the NL's All-Star Game starter.
After the last week and a half, 2 weeks that he's had, I think this was amazing for him to hear. Like you said, he's the best second baseman in all of Major League Baseball. It's not close. It is a wide gap between whoever is second best. I saw someone was trying to debate saying Nico Horner deserved to be second base over Ketel Marte, and I'm like, okay, this is why you can't talk sports with everyone. You really just can't. Ketel actually received the most votes in the National League in Phase 2 out of anybody. So, yeah, like that, like, just watch. Tommy Edman won't be a reserve. We know Max Muncy definitely won't be. I hope that his knee is okay. I don't know if you guys saw that injury. That was nasty. That was pretty ugly to see. So,
He's supposed to be out for 6 weeks, I think. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
at least he's going to be able to play.
yeah, so they're probably going to trade for a third baseman because I don't know if they want to do Kike at third base for 6 weeks. But yeah, no, I was really happy to see. Ketel has tied Paul Goldschmidt with 3 All-Star selections. So congrats there. I think we'll have one more, and I think it's Gino. I think Gino should be the backup third baseman. He should be. He's like everyone. Like some people want. Like I've seen a lot of people say Shelby Miller. I'm like, I don't know if they're like. Shelby's been good, but is he all-star worthy? I don't know. But like this whole fan voting thing is so like the only fans that don't have an issue with it are Dodger fans and Cubs fans because yeah, like and I posted this
Some
in
of
the
us
group
has
chat.
jobs. We can't just, vote on every different platform every single day.
Correct.
We actually work.
I think what they should do is players and coaches submit, and then the league will then have like a top 5 from that list, and that's what the fans vote on in Phase 2. Because we like so many like the fact that James Wood didn't even get into Phase 2 is ridiculous. He's having a insane year. He's gonna be in the home run derby, so that's gonna be like I'm really excited to watch that. So,
I mean, even Juan Soto too. Like you could easily make the argument that Juan Soto should probably be in Phase 2, if not the starter.
I believe Juan Soto was in Phase 2.
I think you're right. I think he did just miss out on.
I mean, because Acuna is starting. I mean, I know people like Acuna, but I mean, Juan Soto
But
does
I
have.
think they had 6.
It is what
so,
it is.
What was it? Tucker, PCA, Acuna, I think Pajes, Soto, and there was one more. I feel like was the 6 they had for the outfield. So, Soto has had a insane June, just ridiculous June. So, I think Ketel. I think it depends on how this weekend series goes. If we win the series, I think he's back for the Angels series next Friday. If we lose and then we split against the Padres, I think they just make him wait till after the All-Star break. Personally,
I agree.
So
Say one thing that just dawned on me. I know it's kind of like somewhat off topic, but it's a little bit more of a recent news with like today's stuff. I think I know the reason why Tawa and Pavin are struggling. Someone go check the betting records. If there's a large amount of money betting on the over for strikeouts for both those guys, maybe maybe you just gotta get both.
Because of this Ortiz story.
Well, I don't know if you looked into it. Apparently, like there was a large amount of money bet on him, like in a specific at bat, to throw a ball, like for the result to be a ball. And both of the pitches.
Watch the pitch. He bounces it.
Yeah. So it's just a little side tangent. That's I know it's not true, but who knows? Pavin and Tawa don't have an interpreter to blame, so maybe it's a little bit more risky. But it could explain why our DH and utility man have been the gas.
The only guys who have been caught doing that has been our bullpen. So
true, yeah. Maybe they're betting on the over.
all these guys being signed off the street, they got to make their money somehow.
You got a good point there. You got a good point there. But it was, I do agree with both you guys on the whole fan voting, All Star game, stuff like that. It's definitely just a popularity contest. But at least they
It's
got
not a
one of them.
baseball issue either.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like basketball. It's just as bad,
Yeah, but at least they got
and
one right
nobody cares about the Pro Bowl.
with
So
Cattell being in the finalists and finally making it. But going on into our next series that we have coming up, because again the D-backs do get to flush it and move on, as we all love to hear all the time. Um, because those last two games were definitely a big turd. It doesn't necessarily get easy from here, as the D-backs do face off against Bobby Witt Jr. and the Kansas City Royals. I believe they are, not playing like they were last year. I know they were a playoff team last year. They've been struggling a little bit. There's been, probably some names on their team that people think, like, they're 41 and 47, so they're 6 games under 500. But they're still I think they're beating the Mariners right now. At least last I checked, they're beating the Mariners. So they're coming into town here, and Bobby Barrels, I'm afraid to see him in Chase Field, because he's probably going to hit like 2 or 3 triples minimum. But they do take on the Royals there starting Friday night. Or starting tomorrow night, I should say, 4th of July. So we're gonna have some fireworks. Hopefully, it's gonna be Chris Bubik, who is 6-6 with a 2.25 ERA, going up against Erod, who's been really solid his last like 4 or 5 starts. His season ERA is down to 5.13. Saturday, we're gonna get a Michael Waka versus the D-backs don't have a set starter yet. That is to be decided still. Whose game would that normally be? Wouldn't that normally be? Why am I blanking? Why am
that
I?
might be Nelson. Would that be Nelson?
It would be Nelson, yeah. So it would be normally Ryan Nelson.
Saturday should be Ryan.
Okay, and then Sunday's Gallen.
And then, yeah, Sunday is going to be Michael Lorenzen, 4-8 with the 4.95 ERA versus Gallen. So the starters aren't set. Maybe it's just the D-backs trying to play. Maybe they're going to move around some names. I don't know. But if we're going off of the order that it has been, it should be Erod, Nelly, and then Gallen. So again, the good chance to take advantage of playing an under 500 team. And get back to at least minimum 500, potentially more, because we got to start seeing this team win some series if we want to see them be buyers or confirm them to be sellers. But what's something that you guys are looking forward to? Maybe some predictions. Like I said, for me, I think Bobby Barrels is probably going to have at least 2 triples, maybe even 2 home runs. He's going to show us why he got that big contract for the Royals. But I think the D-backs hopefully do at least take 2 or 3 in the series. What are you going to be looking for? What's something that kind of catches your eye looking in this matchup? Maybe some predictions that you have going into this series with the Royals coming to town.
I guess first and foremost, they have to sweep. I mean, I know we like series wins, but they are facing the Padres after this. So if they lose a series, or they, take 2 out of 3, they would be at 500 going against the Padres, and anything can happen there. If they're playing in San Diego, which this team struggles in, so if they have to sweep, I think, and to at least be able to stay competitive too, because they're 3.5 out of the wild card, 12.5 out of the division. So I think at this point that one's completely done for. But if this team wants to stay competitive and wants to be buyers at the deadline, they have to sweep the Kansas City Royals. And I do think because of the pitching matchups and even some of the downturn offensively that the Royals have had, I do think they should be able to take advantage and hopefully be able to, get a couple games above 500 and really make a run at it again. And I guess I'll highlight specifically Cattell, just because they are facing against a 6 ERA guy, and Mike Waka, who doesn't throw very hard. Cattell, there's something that he loves, is really slow pitches. So him and Gino, I think up. I can see them going. Having 6 home runs total between the two of them in this series.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point. Cattell should hopefully stay hot here. Obviously, back-to-back games with a home run. Maybe he'll make it 3, 4, or 5 in a row and continue his hot streak. The fact that he missed a month and already has almost 20 home runs is very unfortunate, because if he didn't miss that month, we could be seeing one of the first D-backs to have like a 40-plus home run season. Who knows? He could still get there. But Brandon, same thing to you. What are you going to be kind of keeping an eye on this series? Maybe some predictions, maybe something that kind of stood out to you while looking over this series that we have coming up against the Royals.
I want to see Erod continue to pitch well. Since he came back from the IL, he's looked really, really good. So I want to see him continue to do it. We need our starters to go 6 innings. Like this whole 5 innings thing, like we're wondering why bullpens always tack. And you're like, yeah, because they got to cover 12 outs. Like that's a lot.
Sounds like an impossible task at this point too. With the
Like-
guys we got back there.
A majority of our bullpen should not even be up here. Should either be a free agent or down in Reno. Like there's like that's the like this like we can talk about injuries, we can talk about starting pitching, but for me, it's the bullpen. Like the bullpen is a mess. Like we've seen what this offense does when they're clicking. Like this offense is really freaking good, but it ain't gonna matter. This is a 500 baseball team. I'm still gonna watch every single game. I'm still going to act emotionally, like I normally
That's what we do as baseball fans.
I will, if I see a really ridiculous take, I'm gonna just shake my head at it. Also, one thing we didn't talk about, but I want to give props to what Jake McCarthy said. I think was that after Tuesday's game. I thought that was ballsy. Basically saying, "Oh yeah, go ahead and count us out. That's okay." To be honest, I think we should.
It goes back to what I talked about
well.
in the last one when me and Gabe did it, where this team plays really well with no expectations.
Yeah, like it's so weird. Like no expectations, they play well. We have a little bit of expectations is when they struggle. There's someone on the Royals that depending on where we are, July 31st, I want them to maybe trade for, and that's Carlos Estevez. He 2.19 ERA with 24 saves, with just a 1.08 WHIP. So that could be something. He also has control through next season. So we know Hazen likes to make those moves. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, like Gabe said, like series wins, it isn't going to gain us any ground anymore. There's 4 teams ahead of us in the wild card. We need sweeps. That's why I felt so good after Tuesday. I'm like, you guys have looked really good. If you can do this the next 2 games, like had they gotten the sweep, they would have been ahead of the Giants in the standings. Because before yesterday, they were 1.5 games back of the Giants. And then, yeah, we saw what happened the last 2 days. So, I don't know what's going on with this team, but
It's literally finally pyramid. This team is just pyramid at this point.
literally, look at everything. It's literally this, like the definition of mid. It's ridiculous.
It's very unfortunate, but you know what? I'm hoping that on Sunday when we meet up again here to talk some more D-backs, we can at least at minimum talk a series win. But I do agree, a sweep would be sweet, as some might say. I don't know who the fuck. Sorry, I've been making a bunch of terrible dad jokes at work today on the live, so I'm kind of already done. Oh, I mean every day, but today, dude, I was cooking at work. I was like a full hour in a row of just dad joke after dad joke after dad joke. So I'm all dad joked out. So that was probably one of my worst one. But either way, we appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning on in here. Oscar, Bubba, I know our lovely producer Josh was in the comments too. Elise, Tanner, Red Sox Nation, Corbin Barrels. I want to make sure Tay Dad. I'm getting everyone in here. I don't want to miss out on a single person here. My man Shrimpy, and then even our man Disruptive. So again, appreciate everyone tuning on in here. I know it's a little bit late, but thank you guys for venting your frustrations with all of us, because that's what we're here for, and that's what this community is. We're all here for each other, and it just makes me think of the meme where it's like, oh, during football season, my team loses. Oh man, that sucks. It's okay, we'll get him next week. Where in baseball season, it's like my team loses one game in 162, and he starts having a crash out. Why the fuck would you throw that? It's just. You guys have probably seen what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it's probably easy to find. But that's what we're all here to do. We're all here to emotionally overreact, and that's our job. But the best place to do it with us is in our Discord. It's in our pinned tweet on Twitter. So make sure you guys go over to Twitter, follow us on there if you aren't already. Join the Discord. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok as well. Make sure you guys go over to the azsnakepit.com. Check out, like I said, we have written content over there. So our podcast is more in written form. Josh does a great job with those. There's also a ton of other great writers. Our man Jeff who's in the Discord, also writes over there. I think Nugget also has some prospect articles. So if you're looking for some in-depth breakdowns, some deep dives, anything like that, the Snake Pit will have everything you're looking for. So yeah, again, check out all that over there, and we'll see you guys next time on Sunday. It was a lovely episode. I know we didn't have the brightest of endings to the series, but you know what? At least we didn't lose a series. We'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a great 4th of July. See you then. Oh, you gonna end it?